Hey, how's it going? And welcome to Whisky Wins with me, Stuart. Today, something unusual. It's a whiskey, which isn't too unusual. It's a 12-year-old Caol Ila, still pretty standard so far. But this is a private bottling, or a private cask. So my friend Tony, who supported the channel, and I call him a friend now, we kind of got together through whiskey, got together through those kind of common interests. And him and his father-in-law bottled, well, I don't know if he's father-in-law yet because I don't think they're married, but we'll call it father-in-law for making it easy. So yeah, him and his father-in-law bottled this 12-year-old Caol Ila. It's £75, that's how much they were selling them for. There's 210 bottles. There were also maybe 12 bottles or a number of bottles that were allocated to a slightly different label, just the same stuff, but to celebrate Napoli winning the league, as Tony's father-in-law is Italian. So hence the reason for the kind of Italian, if you look at the label there, the 3 stars, those hills or mountains or whatever you want to call them were designed by Tony's better half, a kind of simplistic logo, which I quite like. I think it's pretty straightforward enough. And those hills or mountains or whatever are somewhere in Italy. I don't really listen, I am terrible, I'm not really here for the label, I'm here for the whiskey. That sounds bad, like why do people even talk to me? But yeah, 59% ABV, non-chill filter, no added colouring, bottled at Young Spirits Limited in Edinburgh, first fill bourbon cask, cask strength. So yeah, we'll get right down to it. I am not the biggest fan of Caol Ila. I know people rave about it and I know they do produce some good whiskey, but it's not a whiskey that always agrees with me for some reason. And as well, I believe you need to be in the mood for peat. I've kind of went off peat a little bit. But we've got some water here. We've got the whiskey, we've got the coin to see if it'll be a whiskey win or a whiskey bin. So we'll get right down to it. I've not compiled any notes for this, so it's just going to be off the cuff. So yeah, on the nose, I think the ABV is quite evident, but it's not. If you're used to high ABV whiskies, it's not going to put you off, but it's definitely there. It's definitely making itself feel present. A little spicy, so I think we will put a little bit of water in it. But what I am getting is a kind of, I had this, Tony gave me a sample of this when we were at a tasting at his house, and I got this kind of flavour or this scent. I remember it quite specific, quite prevalent. It's like a creme brulee kind of salted, or not salted but caramelised, crystallised, that burning effect you get on the top layer, a little bit of crispy, a little bit sweet, but also a little savoury. It's quite fantastic on the nose. So yeah, it's definitely creamy, it's sugary, it's that, like I said, that caramel crystallization. There's possibly a little bit of charring, and I'm going to have to say there is definitely young elements here, young aspects, which is, it's kind of grassy notes, generic grassy notes, but like I said, sorry, I think we've got a mark on the table. Like I said, we'll add some water to it and see how that develops in nose. The palate without the water. It's nice. It's actually hella nice. This is a great whiskey. The peat, 100% there. It's fennel. It's got that dirty, or not dirty, but like earthy peat element to it. It's high. I wouldn't say it's necessarily, is it TCP? I wouldn't say it's necessarily that kind of medicinal. It's more of a grungy, earthy peat. But the peat is definitely evident. If you're wanting a peated dram, this is going to be for you. And if you're not in the mood for a peated dram, stay the hell away from it. Because I've had to take some time. I've had a couple drams out of this, maybe not as much as I normally do for reviewing whiskies, but I'm in a peat mood, so I didn't want to review this when I was not in the peat favour, because I probably would have given it a terrible review. So you have to be in the mood for peat, and I do believe that. But the palate itself, we'll get back to it. So it's like it's so generic and so obvious and such a cop out, but it is like you're cooking something on the barbecue. You've maybe not necessarily cleaned the grill for the barbecue, so you've maybe still got a little bit of burnt meat or burnt leftovers from the previous barbecue. You're getting this kind of little bit of a dirty kind of smear to your sausages or whatever you're cooking from the previous, from the barbecue, from the coal, from the charring, and it's giving you this little bit of oily kind of dirtiness. But it's nice. It's what you want from a barbecue. It's what you want from a peated whiskey. And like I said, not the biggest Caol Ila fan, but I'm enjoying this Caol Ila, and I believe that if you're into Caol Ila, this is probably going to interest you as well. So we'll see what else is there, because all I'm getting is quite generic things. Like I said, we're going to add some water to it. We'll take our time. There's something really weird at the start, like really weird. I don't want to say grassy, but there is. Could you say herbal or something like that? It's. I suppose it is a little herbaceous, but there's some flavour, and it will come to me. I'm gonna have to add a little bit more. Turn into a little session. Yeah, it's something. It's almost. I always link it to like Parma Violet. That kind of effervescent violet sweet that you get. It's almost like that, and I don't know where that flavour comes from, but that's the only thing that I can point to right now, because it is a little fizzy, a little sherbety, and I think that's that Parma Violet, as I said, those little sweets that you used to get. So we'll add some water to it. I feel like I've not given much, and this is why I should take notes and explore the whiskey and take time to take notes, because when I try and do it off the cuff, it's always quite disjointed. So anyway, the nose with a little bit of water. I'm going to add a little bit more just to tame it down. I'm trying to think if I've had this with water before. I think I've had a dram or two with water, but I actually the nose is definitely overpowered by the ABV without the water, but I tend to prefer drinking this without water. I kind of like that little bit of punch. I like the little bit of hit you get. Yeah, so on the nose, definitely that Parma Violet coming through with the water subduing the kind of alcohol and the peat. I'd say you're getting a little bit of a kind of flavour. It reminds me of the strawberry water you get from Volvic. That flavoured water, and strawberry might be the wrong. It might. No, I'm going to go with strawberry. It's not. I was thinking maybe that you get like a lemon and lime version as well, but I don't think this is that citric. I don't think it's very citrus on the nose. So I want to say the strawberry, the strawberry kind of Volvic water that you've left in the bottle for a while, and you open it up and you just get that kind of. It's not necessarily an intense strawberry hit, but it's weird to explain. If you've smelt it, you've smelt it. Not much creaminess on the nose, other than the creme brulee to start with. Which is surprising, obviously being first fill bourbon. There's not a lot of creaminess currently. There's still that charring element. It's still smoky, a little bit spicy. Maybe something like I don't know actually. I was going to say like allspice, but it's too. Maybe nutmeg, something like that, like ground nutmeg. Yeah, because it's quite sweet. It's a very sweet dram on the nose. It's great. We'll go with the palate with water. I think I've kind of explain the nose. So we'll go with the palate. Oh, that's nice. It's just brought it down a little bit more. There's still smoke, there's still peat, but it's not at the forefront. Before the water, it was just punching with peat, punching with ABV and smoke, but now I feel like I'm getting a kind of brittle caramel, or I'm trying to think what they call it. There is a name for it, I've said it before, but it's almost like the Dame bar or the Dime bar that you get. It's that brittle kind of, I can't remember the name now, but yeah, like a brittle caramel. Once again, going with that caramelised, kind of hardened, crystallised, sweet, if you will. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. It's nice. It's £75, which is not too bad. It's maybe a little bit pricey for a Caol Ila, but it's quite a limited number of bottles, 210. And yeah, I think if you're wanting Caol Ila, if you're wanting a peated dram, then you won't be disappointed by this if you were to buy it. Maybe some custard. But I want to say, it's almost like I'm trying to dig myself a hole when I was talking about the grimy barbecue, but now I want to say like leftover custard. I want to say this custard went cold. It started to get a little bit of a kind of layer to it, a little bit of solidity. I'm sure custard's non-platonic liquid, is that what they call it? Anyway, yeah, it's when you hit it, it goes hard. But yeah, it's not constantly like a liquid, or it doesn't act like normal liquid. Anyway, yeah, it's like leftover custard with a little bit of a layer that you could almost walk on. Yeah, the finish is long, it's chewy, it's nice in the mouth, it's got a nice mouthfeel. I wouldn't say the palate. I was going to say, I wouldn't say the palate's overly oily, but it actually is. And I think that's where that barbecue griminess was coming from, that feeling, that remnants of the leftover meat and the oiliness from that as it cooks. So yeah, it's definitely oily, chewy in the finish. A lot of smoke. There's no getting away from it. A lot of smoke, a lot of peat in the finish. Possibly a little bit of licorice, and a little bit of sherbet. I think I said Parma Violet earlier, that effervescent kind of texture, that feel, and that's what I'm getting here, a little bit of sherbet, possibly lemon, but it'd be quite subtle lemon. It's just more the sweetness from it. But yeah, this is a good bottle and a good whiskey. I am definitely not just propping it up because it's my friend. I don't know if he's got any available still or not. It's good. It's a Caol Ila, it's peated, it's an Islay. It's pretty, I don't want to say generic because it is a little bit different. It's a little bit cute, if you like, a little bit quaint. It comes from a kind of different background with the Italian side of things, and that story, and then the Napoli winning the league, the reason for bottling them. So yeah, I think it's a little bit different, but it's still Caol Ila. I hope he doesn't hate me for saying that. It's still Caol Ila. Like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of Caol Ila, but I'm enjoying this. So we'll get down to the review. Would I buy it again? No, I wouldn't. The reason I wouldn't buy it again is purely because there's maybe other Caol Ilas out there that I should explore, and like I said, I'm not necessarily a fan of Caol Ila, and I am struggling with peat at the moment. I am not going to deny it. I've been looking to tan some Kilkerrans and some Longrows, and I am really struggling. Just I can't be bothered. I just want something easy, and the peat just feels like too much at the moment. But I'm slowly getting there. I'm in a position where I'm drinking it, enjoying it, so hopefully the peat train comes back round. Choo choo.
You choose me?
Jesus Christ, I'm so cringy. So yeah, I wouldn't buy it again. Would I recommend it? Hell yeah, it's good. It's definitely one worth trying. Like I said, if you're a Caol Ila fan, if you like a big hit of peat, and then any Islay, yeah, it's good. And do I think it's worth it? £75. I don't think that's a bad price. I think you've got some other actual independent bottlers out there charging a whole lot more for a whole lot less. So I think this is, for what it is inside, I think it's okay. I think it's worth it. I don't think it's too much. I think it's maybe verging on being overpriced, but it's not overpriced. I think if they had went to the 80, 90, I mean £5 off 80, yeah, I think 75 is okay. I honestly do. And I'm probably going to bite myself when there's other reviews that have said £75 too much, but like I said, I'm enjoying this whiskey and I think it's worth what I'm experiencing. So yeah, it's a Whisky Win, definitely. There we go. I don't know if he's got any bottles left, but if anybody's interested in this, then let me know and I'll say to him and see if he's got any bottles left. But yeah, I think it's good. But yeah, thanks for watching. I've been Stuart, this has been Whisky Wins. I'll see you later.